Je vais commencer. Bonjour, je suis Olivier. Ça fait 7 ans que je travaille au port de Montréal, 4 ans comme délégué syndical. J'ai été vécu des négociations de conventions collectives. Je suis le comité de santé et sécurité. Puis c'est moi et Rachel, l'autre juge pour l'autre équipe, qui a écrit le cas. Fait que c'est un peu ça. Merci.
Hello, my name is Liliana Parra. It's been about 11 years I work for TD Bank. It's been about 3 years I've been an HR advisor for TD Bank and looking at all employee matters across Canada. That's about it. Thank you.
Well, I guess we can start. So, hello, my name is Pierre. I'm the president of the union, and I'm here with my two colleagues today. So I'll let you present yourselves.
Hi, my name is Maisie. I am a union member and operator of our beautiful enterprise.
Hello, my name is Mary. I'm the union attorney.
Hello to the union. We are the representatives of RAC. At RAC, we are committed to exceptional customer service, operational excellence, and most importantly, giving our employees the best working conditions possible. My name is Janani, and I present to you my esteemed colleagues.
Yeah, so my name is Vanessa, who's also part of RAC's management. And lastly, but not least, our next colleague is
Chababa, representative of RAC. And
we would like to thank the union for being here, first of all, and discuss the working conditions. We are very excited. Would the union like to give their discussion topics first?
Well, yes, of course, we will agree to do that. First, I just want us to set a few rules to make sure that we're able to progress efficiently in this discussion. So there's two things that I would like to make sure that we all agree on, if you're okay with that. So the first thing, we will suggest that we will be writing the collective as we go the agreement that and we will both share that. If you're fine with this. Another thing that I would like to also make sure is that we're not linking clauses all together because we'll not be able to progress. So if you're fine with that, I think it could be very efficient that way.
Yes, of course, the management agrees.
Okay, that's great. So we would like to suggest the agenda for today. So the first topic we'd like to discuss would be diversity inclusion. Second topic would be related to work clothing allowance. Third one, work schedule. The fourth would be premiums. The fifth will be to talk about benefits. The sixth would like to talk about the return to work and then the duration of the agreement. And would like also just to outline that we know that lately the workplace, the situation in the workplace is not at the best. It used to be great, but the situation has been deteriorated a lot over the last while, and we want to make sure that, and also to reiterate our engagement to work with you towards a mutual agreement on that. So we've outlined the topics we'd like to talk today. Maybe if you can tell us what points you'd like to talk today.
All right, we are open to discuss all the topics that you have mentioned forward. We would like to specifically discuss about the clothing allowance, our working schedules, premiums, and the duration of agreement, along with the pension plan. Does the union agree?
Yes, we agree with that.
Awesome. So we look forward to argue in good faith and look forward to a prosperous future together. The union can start with our first point.
So, of course, we'd like to discuss at first diversity and inclusion. As you know, it's a very hot topic lately with everything that has happened over the last year, and that topic really concerns our members. Of course, it's important to remember that we know that VRAC, as an organization, they present themselves as a good corporate citizen. But the reality is that when we look at the actual working conditions and the state of the workforce, it's basically male guys who are working in the workforce. And May, she's the only representative of employment equity group in the working at the port. She's a single mother, and she has 2 kids to take care of. And the reason why we wanted to bring forward design, we know you have that topic at heart, and we want to make sure that as an organization, and we want to work with you in order to make sure that our employment practices are representative of what the society expects from us today, and also that we increase the representativity of women, Indigenous, person with disability, and also members of other marginalized groups. So, because in fact, when you look at how the work's being done, people work like 50, 60 hours per week. People are being called back at the last minute, 48 hours. It's very difficult to be able to prioritize things like family, and also the collective agreement is not necessarily designed to be attractive for such groups. So maybe Maisie, do you want maybe to tell us why? I know it's highly emotional for you, but why you want to talk about that?
Yeah, the diversity and the inclusion is really important because, I am one of the few women who works in your facilities. So I think that it is a great step for you as an enterprise to put in place a small committee so that you can hear the opinion of a smaller or diversity that is not how can I say it in English? I am French. That it is not generalisé. So yeah, I would really love to be heard, in my opinion, because all my colleagues are basically male, and they do not understand everything from my perspective and my reality. So I think it would be a great addition to the convention.
So basically what we'd like to suggest we include in the next collective agreement would be that we create a joint committee, employer and union, to work at our current work practices with keeping in mind the diversity and inclusion lens. So I guess this is our what we would like to discuss today. Floor is yours.
Yes, thank you to the union. They've brought up great points, and as representative of VRAC, we definitely want to be more inclusive, more diverse, and we definitely see strength in diversity. And therefore, for the demand, I guess, for the negotiation to create a joint community of employers and union to keep the same practices for, in this case, more for women and for Indigenous people. In the case of women, the only problem is that as much as we want to be as inclusive and diverse as we can be, there's also a problem that women there's less women who apply to labor-oriented jobs, such as this one. So we would like to propose another, in this case, propose something else in this case. So just an alternative of what the union has proposed, and it's not that it's that we don't necessarily agree, but we just think that realistically we want to take a step forward, but slowly, and once everything, and like women in the workforce would be more entitled to go for labor work jobs. So we, as an alternative, we want to organize a recruitment for favoring women in the labor force and benefits such as maternity leave, but we will not apply for a committee. We would like to know what the union has, their thoughts on this. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thanks for being open on the subjects. Of course, what our members are expecting is that we work on that and that we look at the system itself. Because in our opinion, there's no way to launch a recruitment campaign if the system is broken. So we need to look at the system first in order to fix it. Because whatever initiative we'll be bringing forward, they will just leave because they not be represented in that, and that includes all of the groups. Of course, we're open to a recruitment campaign, but I think we need to sit and find what the issue, because if the issue is not correctly defined, we'll not find a correct solution.
And if I may add to your point, Pierre-Yves, is the fact that we want to include every minority. And you point, your proposition is great, but it points a specific minority. And you explain that, well, there is very few women in this industry. So it is a small step. I think that if we're more inclusive and we bring every minority together to speak about every problem those minorities face every day, it's going to be more efficient, and it's going to be a win-win situation for both of the parts.
We hear you, we totally understand, and we agree that we need to support the diversity in our workforce, and that is our utmost priority. We understand that we need to fix the basics in our company, and therefore we suggest a training program regarding diversity and inclusion. Which doesn't mean we're going to sit there and train you guys and preach about what diversity and inclusion is, but instead offer what we can see as diverse, and how we can include all minority groups, all groups as equals and as inclusive as possible. We are willing to give the benefits for women, such as maternity leave or daycare, or for parents, any indigenous people. We are willing to give those recruitment offers and special efforts to really advantage our minority groups, though we will not be able to organize a complete team committee in order dedicated for this, but we are willing to change our policies to benefit these groups. Does the union agree to that?
Well, first, I think we agree on the principles. But of course, I'd like to hear from you. What specifically are you talking about for training? Are talking about training for management, for employees? What kind of training? And second, you're talking about maternity leave. So what's your suggestion on that? So it's not clear to me what you're suggesting here.
Yes, so in terms of training, we can offer training for management in order to teach them how to manage a diverse workforce. And in terms of employees, we can offer training in team bonding activities. So we make sure that the differences between people are well aligned and that we are all working happy. And moreover, in terms of maternity leave, we can use the government policy, which is 1 year of maternity paid leave and 6 months of requested leave. So they can request for more, but those leave won't be paid. But 1 year will be completely paid, and for them to spend time with their children. And yeah.
Okay, and you're talking like it will be 100% of the salary will be covered under this new leave, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I guess we agree to that. So just to summarize, just to make sure we are all on the same page.
Yep.
So training for managers on how to manage a diverse workforce.
Mhm.
Second, we're talking about training for the whole organization, bringing awareness on diversity and inclusion, and 100% paid leave for a year, plus an extra 6 months that they can request, right?
Exactly, unpaid, but they can request it.
Okay, the extra year, like it's 1 year plus 6 months after. Okay,
Yeah.
1 year paid plus 6 months.
Unpaid, they'll still have their job, but that 6 months won't be paid. So yeah.
Okay. So I guess Marie. Okay, that's good. So Marie, it's have you had the time to write that?
Not everything. I wrote that they would have a training on how to manage the diversity. Also a training for the employees to know how to deal or have the procedure. I didn't.
Yeah.
I had difficulties to understand that part.
Yes, so it would be training for managers on how to manage a diverse workforce, and then training for employees on how to work along well in a diverse workforce. And in terms of maternity leave, we are willing to offer 1 year completely paid, and 6 months they can request extra, but that 6 months will not be paid. But they will still have their job. They can come back to work. So yeah.
So a paid maternity leave for a year.
Yeah.
And they would have also an extra 6 months.
Yeah, that they can request, but that won't be paid.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so I guess we can move on to the next topic, which will be clothing. So I guess.
Clothing allowance.
Sorry.
It's clothing allowance.
Clothing allowance. Yes. So clothing allowance. So I guess I'll leave you to come up with what you have to say about that.
Yes, thank you again from the union. I'll talk a bit more about the point that we think that it's actually very important, which is work clothes. So we believe that working clothes, such as like jackets, boots, or any gear that would help with their jobs will be very crucial for how productive they are and how safe they will be. So we propose that we would include in our agreement $250 per year for the purchase of clothing. And this again is just for, since a lot of the workers have to be directly in terms of impacted on operations. So there's a lot of wind, there could be a lot of snow, rain, or anything revolving the weather, which may hinder their productivity. And therefore, we think that's crucial to our employees to obtain the necessary working clothes. So again, such as boots and jackets. So let me know what you think, and the floor is yours.
Can you just repeat your suggestion? Sorry, I had a hard time to hear. You broke up here.
Oh, no problem. Yes. So we propose that we want to include in our agreement a $250 per year for the purchase of clothing. So each employee would have the $250 per year.
But it's actually 250. So you want to stay status quo?
We are open to any ideas on the matter, but we think that $250 is a good amount. And the fact that a lot of employees as well use this money in the previous years, and there was no problem with it. So we believe that it's all right. It's all right to keep with this amount because it's enough.
Actually, I disagree with what you said. I did some research and we found out that for a good pair of boots, it's like the minimum of that is like 250 or like 100, stuff like that. So it can very increase rapidly, and this is only for the boots. And we also need for the jacket and for the casque, the shield, the lunette, the glasses. So 250 is not enough.
No, we totally understand. And the fact that, yes, like prices for boots are expensive, but we're not buying boots every single year, right? So a lot of our employees have stayed with us for a long time, and therefore they have that, they still have that money put aside for them. So it's honestly a very feasible amount for them, and it's just an everyday outfit. It's not like they're gonna have like boots for like the entire week or something, every single day, different types of boots. But really, it's in the long run, it's going to be a great, it's a feasible amount.
In fact, I know for experience that we use a minimum of 1 pair of boots per year, because in this company, you know, we do a lot more than 40 hours by week. It's more like 60 hours, and we use them really, really, really to the core. And also we work in such hard environment. You said it, when there's winter storm, when there's hot temperature, when there's rainy day. So yeah, the environment use the boots faster, and we must have good equipment for that.
Yeah, that's what like to add to with my colleague Maezi, like that's the reason why we have to invest with the quality and high like a durable equipment. So that's why the price is worth it. We need the money to buy the good equipment, high quality and very durable, because we're using it like as she said to the core, like working 10 to 20 hour overtime. So that's important. Also, the statistics are showing that the numbers of worker, the number of work days lost due for illness or disability tend to increase with the age. It goes to between 5 days up to 11 days for full-time employees. And so that's why like we need good equipment to be efficient and productivity.
And Marie, could you share our demand on the price that
yes.
we would like? Thanks.
Of course, we are asking for $350 to buy the boot, and also $500 for the rest of the equipment. So because the importance of having good equipment is crucial for a good to do the work well, and to be confident, to have more motivation to go at work, to feel secure. So this is a minimum we can.
And also, if I may add, it is just like complementary to your actual security policy in your enterprise.
Exact. In Annex 2, it is written that there is the politics of the companies that are committed to preserving the environment, the health and the safety of the employees, and we'd like to see it concretely. I think this is the minimum you can do for the workers.
Yes, the union has brought up very fair points. I'd just like to have, again, repeat for the demand. So it's $350 per year, and there was an additional cost, I believe.
Yes, in fact, it is $350 for the boots and $500 for the rest of the equipment, which is also very important to feel confident doing your work and safe. And yep.
Okay, yes. So the union has brought up our safe work environment policy, and of course, we're very prosperous on the fact that we are very safe and we prioritize the safety of our employees, and therefore we think that increasing it by 100, so $350 per year would be enough. As I believe that a lot of the employees already have some of their coats, you know, and they could just buy like another pair of boots. And if not, if anything, there's always next year, and it's always $350. That's always going to be there. It's never gonna leave, and therefore we think that a $350 would be enough for this in this case.
Again, agree to disagree. If we can speak on the same level as you, we're going to speak about numbers. So we do a little math, and the moyenne in English is
Average.
Average, yes, thanks. The average salary is $32 per hours. So like in a normal day, we do 256 salary plus the average sub time, additional time. So it's like 114. So it brings us a total of salary for one day to $370. So in just one day, the booths are less costless. And if you want how can I say it? Je me mélange dans mes idées, but the stats from Canada, Canada stats show that the number of days that we lost because we have accident in our working environment are in average 6.5 days. So this brings us a total of, like, you do your little math. So it's half we ask for you. It's gonna cost way less for you if we agreed on a higher number for the allocation. We are gonna be more well equipped. The employees are gonna be more in secure environment, and we're gonna be able to work in other conditions. Like you said it, sometimes the conditions are so hard that we cannot work. And if we cannot work, you're gonna lose $20,000 per boat. So that's a lot of money, and we ask way less.
Of course. So I'll just, if it's okay with the union, I would like to request a sidebar.
Yeah.
With my team. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So just to make sure that I understood, the sidebar is the caucus, right?
Right, caucus.
Okay,
right.
perfect. So just a reminder that the team that's gonna, like, the key, sorry, one of your team gonna be stand in a breakout room. So if you're the K, you're gonna choose when it's finishing the breakout room. So just use the functionality of red or green. So red is we are not done, and green is that we are ready to start again. So I'm gonna activate the breakout room, and then you can have your time.
Perfect. Thank you.
Can we speak here, or everyone's hearing us? Including
Yes, so it's gonna be every time one team is gonna be randomly. Je peux vous dire en français, en fait. Donc, ça va être fait aléatoirement tout le long de la présentation, à chaque fois qu'une ou l'autre des équipes. Donc, là, ça a donné que c'est le cas. Ça se peut que ce soit vous la prochaine fois ou eux encore. Mais là, si vous voulez faire un caucus, c'est ici. Et eux vont choisir au moment où c'est terminé.
OK.
OK, parfait. Fait que, ben, juste, on va faire un petit résumé de qu'est-ce qu'on a fait. Donc, le premier point, je pense qu'on est allé chercher des points. C'était pas nécessairement des enjeux, mais tu sais, on les a laissés venir à nous, puis ils nous ont fait des propositions qui allaient peut-être même au-delà de ce qu'on s'attendait.
J'ai trouvé ça drôle. Il n'y a pas d'entreprise qui offre 100% du salaire quand tu pars un an en maternité. Là. En tout cas, parfait.
Non, c'est ça. Fait que, en tout cas, il faut juste faire attention, peut-être que ça nous... que ça ne nous revienne pas contre nous éventuellement.
Mais moi, j'ai pas l'impression que c'est justement parce qu'ils savent pas que c'est d'habitude 70% du salaire.
Ouais, peut-être, hein?
Je pense que c'est plus ça, là.
En tout cas, au moins de la formation, c'est déjà un gain, je pense, pour nous
Oui.
autres. Fait que ça c'est bon.
Ouais.
Pour le prochain, ce que je remarque, là, je ne sais pas concrètement c'est quoi leur demande. J'ai hâte de voir parce que je ne les sentais pas prêtes. Ils ont amené le point. Et puis, mais il n'y avait comme rien, il n'y avait pas d'alternative à ce qui est au statu quo. Fait que.
Et là, il était rendu à aller à 350, mais tu sais, moi, je pense qu'ils vont revenir avec quelque chose comme 500. Mais par contre, Marie, quand ils vont revenir avec ça, moi, il n'y a pas de problème, on l'accepte, mais il faut qu'ils nous le donnent dès l'embauche. Il ne faut pas qu'ils
c'est ça.
Ouais.
C'est ça, dans le fond, je vais tu m'entends-tu? Un peu. Oui, OK. Je vais maintenir avec notre milieu là, qu'on avait. Là. C'était 500 $ avec tout. Puis c'est le montant doit être disponible à l'embauche.
C'est ça, exactement.
OK. Puis je pense que, tu sais, un compromis qu'on pourrait faire, c'est d'accepter que de remettre des reçus au moment de l'embauche. Des fois, ça peut permettre de faciliter.
C'est une bonne idée. C'est une bonne idée, le reçu.
Ouais. On va les laisser venir, mais tu sais, à la limite, on peut dire on pourra vous donner un reçu. Puis,
Ben oui, en plus, ils vont pouvoir déduire les taxes de leur.
Aussi, je trouve ça, tu sais, c'est moi qui écrit la convention, mais je trouve ça dur de comme, tu sais, ça va vite, là, fait que genre, c'est en anglais, fait que, en vrai.
Mais non, c'est bien ça, c'est bien.
Je suis en train d'écrire des affaires puis tout, mais c'est sûr que je vais avoir besoin de votre aide pour comme relire tout ça puis arranger les fautes parce que là, j'écris, mais je fais plein de fautes et je regarde même pas.
De toute façon, là, qu'est-ce qu'on fait à la fin de la convention, c'est qu'on relit tout rapidement.
Okay.
Puis après ça, une fois que tout le monde a agree, on l'enverra. Mais c'est pas grave s'il y a des fautes aussi.
Non, mais là, c'est bourré de fautes. J'ai de comme tout prendre en compte, là, mais tu sais, c'est. En tout cas, ouais.
En tout cas, j'ai hâte de voir le reste parce qu'on s'est ostiné sur un point que je pensais qu'il allait prendre 2 secondes.
Fait qu'on va voir. Peut-être qu'il y a peut-être des points de friction qui s'en viennent.
C'est vraiment.
Eux, ils avaient amené 3 points dans l'agenda. Le clothing, les vêtements.
Oui, les camps de travail puis le régime de pension.
C'est ça. Fait que, je sais pas, j'imagine qu'ils vont sûrement vouloir mettre de l'avant le quart de fin de semaine.
Oui.
Donc, on est ouvert à ça, mais je pense qu'il va falloir mettre les bonnes balises.
Oui, bien, au début, moi, je pense qu'on ne veut vraiment pas. On maintient notre point. Si on voit qu'ils sont trop fermés, on montre qu'on fait vraiment notre bout de chemin et qu'on l'accepte. Mais par contre, on va être payé temps et demi encore, puis pas que ce soit temps simple. Puis on exige un droit de repos compensatoire. Ça, je pense que c'est vraiment un gain intéressant qu'on aurait, puis qui serait, c'est ça.
Je suis d'accord.
OK.
Sinon, pour le reste, non, ça me va, là, je pense.
Oui, c'est ça. Ben, je pense que, tu sais, je pense qu'il faut les forcer peut-être à nous faire des propositions, là, parce qu'au début, ils ont comme un petit peu pris le contrôle de la discussion, mais il n'y a rien encore qui est sorti, fait que je ne sais pas. Il va peut-être falloir les faire parler un peu plus sur leur objectif, là, parce que c'est pas clair pour moi qu'est-ce qu'ils veulent, obtenir de nous, là.
En date, ils voulaient juste nous donner 250$ pour tout, je pense, mais là, c'est pas assez. C'est vraiment insuffisant. Là, ça n'a pas de bon sens. On ne peut pas rester assis.
Hey, excusez, j'ai sorti les chiffres tout croche. J'étais genre.
Non, c'est bon.
Mais ouais. en tout cas, c'est bon signe, ça veut dire, parce que si on pris le temps de faire un caucus, c'est ceux qui vont revenir avec une proposition.
C'est parce que c'est ça, puis en plus que c'est déjà marqué dans la politique de l'entreprise qui sont vraiment en cœur sur...
admettons, là, hey, regarde, on peut faire le petit calcul rapide, là, 500, puis nous, habituellement, bon, c'est 250 de plus, fois 53 employés. Hey, regarde, ça leur coûterait un gros 13 250 de plus dans une année. Là. 13 250, c'est en plus, tu l'immobilises.
Une compagnie internationale que genre...
l'immobilise, puis c'est genre à peu près 1000 pièces. Ça représente 1000 pièces par mois. Là. C'est vraiment, vraiment pas beaucoup.
Ça va leur revenir moins cher que les coûts que ça leur coûterait au niveau de la CSST.
Exactement. On peut dire que si on regarde, on fait un sommaire sur un an, là, ça leur coûte moins cher en un mois d'acheter de l'équipement à tout le monde plutôt qu'une personne partant en congé, en arrêt maladie pour une semaine. Fait qu'on dira ça.
Oh, OK. Puis ce que je voulais dire aussi qui est peut-être important, c'est que tu sais, disent qu'on peut utiliser nos vêtements personnels, mais on utilise nos vêtements personnels pour marcher dans la rue, pour prendre le métro. C'est pas le même genre de contexte que quand on est sur le bord du fleuve qui vente, il y a de la poussière. Tu sais, c'est pas la même chose. Là. Puis c'est obligatoire d'avoir des bottes aussi de sécurité. Donc, l'année que tu arrives avec tes bottes, ben là, l'année d'après, c'est quoi? Tu gèles?
Puis honnêtement, là, ça pourrait être retourné contre eux si on se rendait dans un grief, là, je pense que ça s'appelle de même. Ça, tu pourras le dire, Marie, parce que s'ils nous disent, ben oui, mais utilisez votre propre équipement, mais qui se sont munis d'une politique de santé et sécurité au travail, mais qui nous disent, ben débrouillez-vous avec vos petites babouches, je suis pas sûre que ça va passer devant des juges.
Oui, qui est parfait. Fait que, tu sais, si l'équipement est insuffisant de notre part puis qu'on commence à avoir un accident ou quoi que ce soit, mais on
ça, c'est de la négligence. C'est de la négligence de la part de l'employeur.
Et on pourrait faire un grief contre ça.
Ben, c'est ça. C'est quoi qu'ils vont faire si les gens gèlent, ils ont des engelures sur le bord du fleuve avec les grands vents à moins 30. Il n'y a rien trop intéressant. Là.
Exact.
Sur les fleuves aussi, la température est plus ardue parce qu'il y a l'humidité justement du fleuve qui frappe. C'est frappant. Là, c'est pas juste un petit moins 15, là, tu le sens. Là. Fait que,
je veux juste peut-être qu'on prenne le temps pendant qu'ils sont absents pour réfléchir sur la question du régime de retraite.
Oui.
Ce que je vois, c'est que présentement, on est à 3 de contribution des employés et puis l'employeur ne contribue pas.
C'est ça.
Par contre, ils l'ont amené au point à l'agenda. Donc, je me demande vraiment qu'est-ce qu'ils veulent faire avec ça. Là. Si on réfléchit, apparemment, ils veulent-tu l'abolir?
Moi, honnêtement, ce que j'aimerais, c'est qu'on les laisse parler en premier. Parce que vu que c'est eux qui l'amènent, c'est comme eux un peu qui viennent de se mettre dans l'eau chaude. Parce qu'en ce moment, je veux dire, ils ne pourraient pas être moins impliqués que ça dans le processus. Fait que je comprends pas comment ils veulent le changer. Fait qu'à la limite, on va peut-être faire un gain inespéré qu'on n'avait même pas.
Oui, bien honnêtement, je pense que s'ils le mettent à l'agenda, je pense pas que c'est pour le bonifier, là. À moins que ça cause un tel problème d'attraction que.
Mais tu sais, c'est quoi l'avantage de l'enlever complètement? Je veux dire, ça, c'est tellement le minimum que tu offres en tant qu'entreprise. Ça ne te coûte rien quasiment d'avoir un fonds qui est géré puis que tes employés cotisent dedans. Tu n'as aucune contribution, tu n'as aucune gestion. C'est la banque avec laquelle tu es attitré qui va le gérer à ta place.
C'est ça. Je ne suis pas clair c'est quoi qu'ils veulent. Il va peut-être falloir. On va les laisser s'avancer peut-être là-dessus.
Oui, je pense.
C'est quoi le mot pour grief en anglais?
Grievance.
Grievance? How do you spell it?
Oui, grievance.
Comment tu écris ça?
G-R-I-E-V-A-N-C-E.
Okay. G-R-I-E. OK, c'est parfait. Grievance. All right.
OK. Bon, ben, moi, je serais prête à recommencer, là.
Si l'équipement n'est pas suffisant et qu'il y a des accidents qui sont causés à cause de ça, ben, on pourrait avoir recours à un grief contre eux.
C'est ça, on pourrait se rendre en grief. C'est des choses que je pense que les deux parties ne veulent pas. C'est pas le fun pour personne. C'est ça.
Et fait que, mettons, ils vont proposer de quoi? Je fais ma dernière intervention, puis après ça, s'ils ne changent pas, ben, on va accepter pour, mettons, le milieu qu'on a.
Après ça, tu dis, regarde, ça, c'est notre dernière offre, 500 $. On fait vraiment, tu sais, dis, ça, c'est notre dernière offre.
On est reparti, mesdames.
Yes, thank you for the union's patience and for allowing us this caucus. We have discussed between us, the union, and we have decided that the $350 is enough. So $200 for the boots and $150 for other equipment. And we'll tell you why. In the past, for example, we had $250, and that seemed to be enough for our employees. And as well, that we are a productive industry and not a constructive industry. So therefore, the amount of accidents due to equipment wouldn't be as high than in construction work. And therefore, we believe that as well, that in order to further safety, we would like to do workshops on how to manage the equipment, further overall training on that. And we think that that would be more suitable and more helpful and efficient for our employees. And therefore, we would like to stick to the $350 as we have mentioned, and just that this $350 will be carried out for next year if it is not used. So that already there is $700 if it is not used, which is more than enough for any pair of boots, any pair of equipment or whatever. But what we really want is for our employees to be comfortable in the weather. That's what we're trying to protect them from, is just the weather, and we believe it necessary to do this, and we think that it's feasible enough. So we'd like to know what if we can come to a collective agreement in good faith.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I'd like to say is that for the $350, this is what you would allow us to have for the whole equipment. This is what, do I understand well? Could you repeat for?
Yes, I'll repeat. So we said we will do $200 for boots and $150 for any other equipment. And this will be transferred, this amount will be carried over to the next year. So if it is not used, then the employee can use it for the next year. So it's more than
so just to be clear, you want me to pay for my boots to work for you, because like I said, the average price of boots is $250 minimum. So you want me to buy cheap boots and to risk my security to work at your enterprise. Is that correct?
We do understand what you're trying to imply, but however, we have been providing $250 for in the past, and that was enough for most of our employees. They'd spent the whole amount, and that was enough for them. So with every year, or with every other collective bargaining and with inflation rates, we do try and increase this amount whenever prices do increase. But however, all of our employees have been using the boots and the equipments that they've been able to manage within the $250 range. So no, of course, we do not want you to pay for your boots, but but we believe that the $350, like $150 for the boots for our company is enough. However, you guys earlier also mentioned about accidents happening in workplaces, but we're also not a construction company, but we're like a processing facility, and we haven't had any reported cases of accidents due to workloads or not us providing proper workloads. We have had good progress. Most of our employees used the total amount, and there were also employees who did not use the full $250. So we believe that it's going to be feasible. However, we can agree to increase the amount for boots to $200 and for equipments to $150. So does the union agree with that?
Well, you know, I think we're close to finding a resolution to that. I think we both parties agree on the target we're trying to achieve. The thing is, what's important to know here is that when we work on the wharf, we're exposed to wind, to dust, to, especially in the winter, in a situation where the weather condition can change like very rapidly. The thing is that our staff, their regular work, like coat and regular boots, are made to walk in the street, take the metro, and things like that. So especially when people are being like, they're being appointed and brought in the organization, so the equipment is not adequate to that. So when they're being hired, we ask them to take like a very important amount of their pay just to come to work first. So our proposition for that is that whenever someone is new in the organization, when you're being first appointed, like we would like for them to receive $500 to buy a coat and boot. And what we would agree on would be a $350, no differentiation between both and the coats, that can be carried over through years. So that would be our recommendation. Well, our suggestion.
Thank you to the union for proposing this solution. The management agrees with what union has brought forward. So I'll just take a second to wrap up what we've discussed. So I conclude that the management and union has agreed to provide $500 to employees when they join for their boots and for a coat and the boots and other important gears that they need with, and every year they will receive $350 for their boots and other equipments that they will need to work.
Yeah, and that can be carried to the next year if not used completely.
Yes, that would be carried forward. Thank you so much. We really appreciate this discussion, and now we'll move forward to our next point, which is flexibility.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to talk at the next point about not necessarily about work schedule. So what do you mean by flexibility? Can you tell us more? What's you're implying here?
Oh, so what we had, it's basically also about work schedule, just that in our wording we put that as flexibility instead of work schedule, but it is the same point that we want to discuss.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, and what do you want to talk about?
Okay, perfect. I'll let my colleague Janani take over this point.
Thank you, Shabala. All right. So in terms of work schedule, we are planning to set up a weekend shift with the current employment force that we have. And within a notice of 48 hours, we will be able to set a weekend shift saying which employees can work on the weekend with a 50 cents premium over the hour worked on the weekend. So instead of working overtime during the weekend, we are looking forward to set a shift for the weekend people. Does the union agree for that?
No, we don't agree with that because we work a lot. Like you ask us more than the majority of companies. We work 60 hours in average in this company. And to be shown that way that we must have another type of work shift is going to be less motivation for us. So no, I think that we must really consider keeping the 3 same shifts that we have now.
We hear you. We understand what you mean. We understand that you guys work 60 hours, 50 hours a week. We totally understand. But we have, we all know that you guys are paid the overtime hours that you have worked for. But with this weekend shift, you will be allowed to have a normal shift instead of overtime hours. This will allow you to have a set schedule for the weekends and not called in last minute for the overtime. So this would allow our employees to plan their weekend, have their rotational schedule. Not the same employees will always go on the weekends. We can have different employees go on the weekends. And if we set up a schedule like that, this will be beneficial for you and us, since you will know when you'll be working, you will have your set schedule, and we will have our set schedule knowing that those employees will be available for us. The thing is, our industry, as we know, we have those weekend deliveries last minute, and it's beyond the control of the company. Therefore, we need the people on the weekends. Moreover, we know that last year, almost 46 out of 52 weekends we had been working. This means that we clearly have a need for an employment force during the weekend. And since we can provide a nice premium for the people who work on the weekend, we believe the union can grace us with a weekend shift. What does the union think?
I think that what you implied is that, yes, we agree on the fact that the industry that we are working in is really demands flexibility. And we know it because we work 60 hours per week. And we know it because it's been 100 years that we are in this industry. But the fact that you ask us to be paid less for something that we already do not correspond with our needs. So yeah, we can agree on something, but not the fact that we are going to lose our 1.5 paid salary instead of a small premium. So if you want to instead incorporate the weekend shift, we can, but we must be paid 1.5 times that we are paid. And we're gonna need, I wrote it down somewhere. We're gonna need right to rest for at least 40 hours after those shifts.
Right to rest for 40 hours?
Yes, after the weekend shifts.
Can you explain what do you mean by rest? After working weekends, you would like to not work for 40 hours?
Yes. Like there's a lot of companies from North that when you do like 4 shifts back to back, you have like 4 shifts of rest, and it's a clause in some case. So I think that it will be a great compromise for those who have families like mine, and I'm a single mom. So at least I would have 2 days with my children after to compensate.
We understand that, but 40 hours, 2 days of work is 16 hours, not 40 hours. That's what I'm not understanding here. You want to work 16 hours during the weekend and get 40 hours of rest? It's just a misunderstanding. Can you re-explain that part?
48 hours, meaning
okay, yes, yes, okay, understood, got it, perfect. Thank you. Sorry, I understood a work of 40 hours a week.
No.
Perfect, understood, got it. Yes, so we cannot agree with the fact that we are asking you to work for less than what we're asking for. We are giving you a premium, though. Would you rather be called last minute overtime, come over to work, or would you rather be called, okay, today I have to go to work, it's planned, you will have you know what you're doing, you know you have work today. And I totally understand that you want the clause of you work 2 days and you get those 2 days off. We are willing to give those 2 days off during the week if you work during the weekend. That is something that we can agree upon. But
continue.
But in terms of the pay, we're only willing to go up to the premium of 50 cents. And we would like to remind you that even the evening shifts get a premium of 75 cents per hour, and night shifts 125 per hour. This is not a night shift nor an evening shift. It's just a daytime shift during the weekend, and we are willing to give the premium. If the union can agree with that premium, it would be great, since we can have a scheduled time for both.
But if I can remind you, in our reality of day-to-day working, Actually, yes, there's nothing written down black and white in the convention, but the fact is that we are paid 1.5 times our salary if we work after 3 p.m. 3 p.m. on Saturday, and our foreman calls us and prepare our work almost like a week before. So the culture is set itself is already set that even if it's not written in the books and by the books, we can prepare 1 week earlier and we are still paid 1.5 times our salary.
I totally understand, but we have to remember that that is for overtime hours past 2 p.m. on a Saturday. But we do get that it's still a weekend where we all are usually at home. Therefore, we are willing to increase our premium to $1 instead of 50 cents. So we doubled the premium rate that we had at the beginning, but we cannot afford to give 1.5 hour on normal hours because we are allowing you to have those days off that you work. We are allowing to work on normal hours and not after hours, and we are willing to give a premium of $1. Therefore, we request the union to please understand and consider of not requesting for a 1.5 times the pay, but instead a $1 premium on the hour that we're working.
Just to add on to what my colleague said about the hours, and I do understand how you brought up the Saturday after 3 p.m., how it's overtime pay. But just to reiterate, what we want to establish with the weekend schedule is that before, what used to happen is our management, when they needed people, they used to call anybody, like anyone they needed, and it could be any weekend. And they used to be called to work, and it could be that in 1 month, one employee was called twice in 2 different weekends. But with this weekend schedule, when we have our schedule set up from 48 hours before the work that is scheduled, these employees can get more breaks. They can get they would only have to work 1 weekend every month, which means they're getting more breaks, although they're not getting paid 1.5 times. So this schedule is also going to let them, although it pays not 1.5 times, it's going to let our employees have more breaks and have more free time with their families, or like go plan their weekends ahead of time.
Important here. I understand your point here, but it's important to remind ourselves in what industry we are and with who we're comparing ourselves. So we compare ourselves to the staff who work for the Port of Montreal. We're also a federal organization covered under the Canada Labor Code. So there's some specific provisions that are related to work during the weekends. And what we'd like to do here is to continue to work with you so we find better ways to plan and also being appropriately paid for the work we do and the time we're away from our family during the weekend, because VRAC is a company based on family values, and that's something that is very important to us. So what we'd like to suggest here is a bit different than your approach, because it's like what we want in the end is that the employees, that they can plan accordingly. So what we suggest is that as an employer, we based on seniority, we create, instead of the last minute call, a non-call list that would be well known in advance, so that people are not called at the last minute, but they know that they will be on call on that weekend and that they're being compensated for an equivalent of 3 hours overtime during that waiting time. But whenever you need that, you have staff available at all time and on short notice.
I do understand what the point union has brought forward. The weekend schedule that we want to create before every weekend will be published 48 hours in advance. And any employee who has any problem with the schedule or cannot make it that weekend can definitely make a request to management. However, we do believe sometimes creating a list of seniority based on seniority could sometimes be conflicting to our employees, because we try and treat all of our employees fairly. But we will for sure have our weekend schedule created 48 hours in advance. And we also do provide, even at minimum, even if there is no work or employees have worked less than 3 hours or 4 hours, we always provide our employees with a minimum of 4 hours of salary. And given if they work on the weekend, they will get the premium of $1 added to their salaries for those hours, worked or not, but within a minimum of 4 hours.
Okay, but your first and main argument in this case is the fact that we can plan ahead. And in the first place, you said 1 week before, and now you're saying 48 hour. I'm not sure to understand.
We have not mentioned 1 week before. We have mentioned a weekend schedule that we wanted to have 48 hours before, with a premium of $1 and something that we can plan. So we wanted to implement a weekend schedule where the employees would know 48 hours in advance of if they would work on the weekend or no, along with the $1 premium for the hours that they worked. And we are also willing to give what you have requested for, a 2 days leave after the 2 days that you have worked. So the 2 days that you lose working at the weekend could be taken during the week that we agree upon. Does the union agree for that?
Well, again, I think it's important to remind who we compare with. So in the weekend, the Port of Montreal, they're being paid way more than that, than just a premium of $1. So it's important to keep in mind that, here, this is one a very important consideration. So like our staff, they're being taken away from their family, and they need appropriate compensation. So like at first, we don't agree with the idea of creating a weekend shift. However, we need appropriate compensation, and the compensation of the on the table right now is not acceptable for us. So I'd like you as an employer to be to go a little more further here, and because we know it will not be acceptable for our members, the recommended your suggestion here. So so what we expect is that our staff who agree to work on the weekend, is that we receive an appropriate premium, and the premium that we would be in, like that our staff are expecting, is that we work at double time in the weekend. We will be there. We will be ready to respond to the demand whenever a ship is there, as we've always done. We have very professional staff who work for this organization, and they need to be paid for the work they do and to be compensated for the time away from their family. We have young people with young kids, so the appropriate compensation also helps them to find alternative. It's good to talk about deal that we will receive 48 hours delay, 48 hours notice. But the thing is that we need to pay some time, especially I'm thinking about John. He's a single father. He has 3 kids. The mother just passed away, and he needs to find someone to take care of these kids. So if he don't have enough compensation, how come? It will cost him more to come to work than to take care of his kids. Daycare are off in the weekend, so we need appropriate compensation.
And if I may add, I know for a fact that I can be an employee everywhere, because the lack of expertise in our range and industry is really a natural topic. So yeah, I love to work here, and I would love to love it in the future as well. So take that in consideration, please.
Yes, we hear you well. And we understand that we need compensation, well compensated for working on the weekends. Though we would like to remind you that the time that we're taking away from you, we are giving it back to you during the week. You can spend well over the time that you want with your family, the days that you have worked during the weekend, during the weekdays. Well, we understand it's the weekend. It's not the time that it's the time that most of the family is there. Therefore, we are willing to move up to a premium of $1.50 per hour, which is more than the evening shifts, more than the night shift for the weekend shift. We have to understand that this is more than the average that we offer. And moreover, for John, we get it. Single dad, of course, our employees are more important to us than anyone. In situations like that, we understand John can choose not to work on the weekend, and we offer him the possibility of choosing the shifts that he wants. And this could be done in a way where management does not choose who gets the shifts, and employees are allowed to choose their shifts. But in terms of premium, we are willing to move up to a $1.50 an hour, and we believe that's more than enough for what is required to work during the daytime, weekend, when you are able to get back that time during the week. So please consider.
So if I understand correctly, is that your final offer? Because I see no flexibility on your side, you know, we've been very flexible so far. And, you know, because like we have like our members, they're willing to go on strike when we don't want to go there. And because we're here in good faith, and I'm sure we can find a solution to that. But what we expect is that appropriate compensation, and what our members are asking us, yes, we will be there. Yes, we will be working as professional as always. But we expect to be paid like what is being done at the moment. We have agreed to participate to your pilot project. We've been there, and what we expect is that we're being paid at least twice, double of our regular rate. It's important for our members to see that, because otherwise nobody will be willing to work in the weekend. The reason why we're present and we're showing up, it's because there is an appropriate pay. And if nobody is willing to show up at work, well, nobody will be able to empty the ships.
We hear you well. But I would like to remind you, at the beginning of our class, you said 1.5 times the pay, and now you're doubling up the pay. Can I know what you're asking for finally for the weekend?
So for the weekend, we asked for double pay, double the rate of pay for the weekend shift.
Okay. I would like to request a sidebar to discuss with the representatives of RAC, if the union allows.
Yeah.
Thank you. Camille?
My bad, sorry. So you want to go on a separate room, right?
Cookies, yes.
Perfect, sorry.
No problem.
There you go. Donc, pour vous rappeler, vous pouvez, avec l'onglet rouge ou vert. Donc, so you're going to stay on the general room now. Is the other team that's go in a separate room, and then you can discuss.
All right. Okay, guys. 150 premium, I think it's pretty good. Double pay is not possible. We're not going to give that. No. You're on mute, Shababa.
Oopsie. Okay, so no, because their initial demand was 150 premium and 48 hours break. So just reiterate that, bring that back and agree to that. We cannot have our demands increasing.
Yeah, they literally said at first 1.5.
Vanessa, you're on mute.
Mute. Okay.
Sorry, I was going on. Okay, the only problem right now is that basically the guy was like, oh, we were very flexible. We want to like negotiate in good faith. So that already there, we're seen in a bad light, right? So how do like necessarily we have to agree to some of the points, right? Because if not, we're gonna look really bad. So that's the only thing now. We gotta like figure out a way to like, because I know this is the point that we really want. But
I would say bring back the first demand that the lady started with, which was 40 hours break in 150, and just say that yes, we're agreeing to what you have said earlier, but later they changed their demands.
They changed it. At first they said 1.5 times the pay, now they're double the pay. We are willing. I'm not willing to double the rate.
When we're out of the sidebar, you say just thank you for your patience, and we listened to you, and our initially what you have proposed us is 1.5 times premium and 48 hours break, and
she didn't agree for 1.5 premium. She agreed for 1.5 times the pay.
I think because the thing is, when they said flexibility, I think they meant when they said they put a non-call list. They proposed that, and we said no because we want to, equality for all employees. Right?
I'm thinking because non-call list is when we don't have the part-time. I mean the weekend shift. If we have a weekend shift, why would we want to call people? We got the people. So that's the thing.
Like even if we have a weekend schedule, we call people, right? Like we set a schedule the week before, 48 hours.
Okay.
So you say we schedule it 48 hours in advance, and we will listen. Okay, do 1.5 times to give this away, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, I think so too. I would be like, I'm gonna offer 1.25 first, 1.25 times the pay. And if they really push it, I'm gonna go up to 1.5. There's no way I'm gonna go for double.
Do you want to start with 1.5 because this has already started a while ago?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay,
we've been on this for a while now. And
do you guys want to take over? I feel like I'm talking too much. Do you guys want to take over?
No, I'm better at the pension plan. I'll be better at that one.
Fine. I'm gonna finish this off by saying, okay, we're allowing you 1.5 times the pay, no double, with 48 hours break that you asked for, and we have given you everything you asked for. Give us what we asked for.
Janani, just start off by saying, I just want to sum up what we agreed upon today. We did this, we've done progress. Just start like that, right? We've done progress, guys, and then pitch it. Okay, then
okay.
I'll take the next point premium, although.
Yeah.
And then the pension plan, I'll start, and Vanessa, you
can. I can take over after. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna summarize the previous point just to
just add a little fluff at the beginning and just say bring back John. If you have to bring back John, bring back John. Be
our King John. All right.
We care about John. Okay, we care about his 3 other kids. His 3 children.
We care about everyone, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, we're 1 hour 40 minutes in.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, let's go. Okay.
Do we just leave room? No, we stay.
No,
we asked them to. Yeah.
So just to confirm, you were the one asking for the room
sidebar.
So I'm gonna just everybody's back in.
Yes. Thank you.
Just one sec. So they have 1 minute to come back into their room. So now you can click off your yes button on the corner of your screen.
Vanessa, take off the green.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
Wait, so from the clock, because I have the clock right now, so that means it was at 1:20 before, right? And now it's at 47. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have
You still have 1 hour and 47 minutes because the cuckoo is like just for 2 hours maximum. So I'm gonna add at the end an extra hour.
Okay, thank God. Okay, cool.
Now you can continue.
Okay. All right. Okay, we would like to thank the union for your patience. And before we get starting, I would like to remind us on what we have agreed upon earlier. We have agreed upon training for on diversity management for the management, for the employees. We have even given a year of maternity paid leave for our employees, our mothers, we understand. And moreover, we have even given allowance of $500 for the initial employees as they start, and a $300 annual allowance that they can carry over for the next years. And finally, for flexibility. While discussing with my teammates, I have agreed that we have come to an agreement that we are willing to increase the pay to 1.5 times the normal pay during weekend shifts. And we are giving the 48-hour break that you are asking for. And with a 48-hour announcement before the weekend shift. Does the union agree for the 1.5 times pay during the weekend shift?
I'm just I think my teammates are they in the conversation right now?
Yeah, I was looking for the unmute. Sorry, typical Zoom. Okay, so what you're saying is that for the weekend, like the shift in the weekend, we're talking about 1.5 times the regular rate of pay.
Exactly.
48 hours notice.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
And 48 hours break after the weekend.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so if that is your suggestion, can you hold on a second? I think that well, we will agree to that. Yeah.
Awesome. We are very happy that we have come to an agreement on this subject. All right, so if I repeat our agreement, we have agreed that with a 48-hour of notice, we are willing to give the weekend shift a 1.5 times the pay of regular hours and a 48 hours of off hours after the weekend.
Okay, and just to be clear for the 1.5 is that this applies to all staff working in the weekend, including those in the night shift, right?
Those in the night shift will get the pay they get during the night shift. The ones that work during the day shift that we allot during the weekend, which is 8 to 5, which is the day shift that we use during the weekday, will be used on the weekends as well. And those people who work on the normal day shifts will get the pay that they get, which is 1.5 times the normal pay.
Okay, so and if that is the case, because that's not what I understood. So so what we could agree on is that if you include like all hours completed during the weekend, like from 12 to like from midnight to midnight, would be paid at 1.5 for all workers. We would agree to that. So including those who work on the night shift.
Night shift of the weekend?
Of the weekend, yes.
All right, yes, the union does agree. Then on the weekends, anyone who works night shift, morning shift, 1.5 times the pay with 48-hour notice and 48-hour leaves afterwards. Does the union agree?
Yes.
Awesome. We can move on to the next point now that my colleague will announce.
So the next point we have in here is the premiums, and we would like to give the floor to union to say what they have for premiums.
Mode. Okay, so yeah, well, our premiums, the main point were about the paid salary for the weekends. So on the other point, we don't have anything prepared in the agenda. But if my colleagues want to add something, it's up to them.
So I'm guessing like the list that Union has earlier, or like provided us earlier, did you want to discuss premiums as one of your points, or was it pension plans?
It was premiums about the work schedule. So what we agreed like 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we kind of separated the points, but the first point was that we agreed on the creation of the weekend shift, and the second part was with regards to the premiums paid on that shift.
Okay, amazing. Awesome. So just to reiterate, what we've agreed on was about the weekend schedule, and we've agreed to do a 1.5 times the pay with 48 hours notice and 48 hours break after the weekend schedule. Okay, so let's move on to our next point, which was the benefits that we had. And we would like to provide the floor to Union so that they could go forward with the point.
Okay, so like in terms of benefits, the first point would like to talk with regards to the pension plan. Sorry, so the pension plan. But before we go on that, so I'm just wondering, do you have anything else to discuss in the point of benefits?
No, management also had pension plans, a pension plan from ahead, but that's all that we have too.
Okay, that's good. So I was not quite sure. So, okay, so what we'd like here is that we'd like management to increase the pension plan that we have at the moment. And because at the moment, only the employees are contributing to the pension plan. So one of our expectation, and this is the goal that I want to bring forward, and we can look at the solution after, but what we want is that we want the employer to contribute to that. And some areas of our concern are the wages that are being considered under that plan, and also the contribution of the employer. So before we move forward, I'm just wondering what were your concerns with regards to the pension plan?
So just to start off, so here at VRAC, we're committed to provide our employees with the best facilities, working conditions, opportunities, and all things fair. So what we had in plan was to standardize the pension plan program, which we had, to make it to 4% of the annual base salary. We wanted to increase it because we know with inflation rates increasing, there's always increase. Like we've also heard our employees wanting an increase in their pension, the percentage that's dedicated to their pension plans, and it's just that we listen to our employees, and we've come up to a solution that we will increase it. We will make it to 4% of their annual base salary.
Just to be sure, you want up to 4%, or you want to oblige every employee to give 4% of their salary to go to the pension?
Okay, so what we have understood was that it is currently a defined plan, and we want to make it to 4% of their annual base salary for all employees and for their pension plan programs. And So that is what we're asking for, yeah.
Okay, but in this case, it's up to 3%. So some may not contribute, and some may up to 3%. But it is not an obligation right now.
Okay. I would just like to take 1 second. If Union is fine, I would like to take a sidebar to discuss.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much.
Super. I'm gonna send you to the breakout room for a sidebar. Just a reminder of the yes or no for the key team, the K team. So when you're done, you can come back into the principal Zoom to be able to continue.
OK. Je pense qu'on est juste entre nous.
Oui.
Honnêtement, je comprends pas la demande, là.
Parce qu'ils n'avaient pas compris. Genre, dans le fond, là, ce qu'ils veulent, c'est qu'ils veulent obliger tous les employés à contribuer à 4%, mais ça, c'est totalement illégal. Tu n'as pas le droit d'obliger quelqu'un à participer à un fonds de pension, là.
Techniquement, ils peuvent, là, mais
T'as
parce
pas
que
le
dans le
droit.
fond, peut-être que leur objectif, c'est dans le fond, c'est peut-être ça, s'assurer que tout le monde. Dans le fond, peut-être que ce que je comprends, c'est que leur objectif, c'est peut-être de créer un système qui est viable parce que. Mais là, dans le fond, tout le monde, des MOS, dans le fond, c'est obligatoire. Fait que honnêtement, je ne comprends pas c'est quoi leur affaire, là. Parce que là, ils veulent augmenter à 4%, qu'est-ce qui est présentement à 3. Fait que là, ils nous demandent de bonifier le régime, mais je ne comprends pas leur objectif. Qu'est-ce qu'ils essaient d'atteindre, là?
En essayant de dire qu'il y a un plus gros régime, d'après moi, c'est pour augmenter les cotisations puis que ça fasse plus d'intérêt, mais c'est parce que, en tant que tel, là, puis ça, je suis pratiquement certaine, là, quand je dis ça, tu n'as pas le droit d'obliger un employé à cotiser à ton régime. Une façon de le rendre ça intéressant, c'est justement d'égaliser ses cotisations en tant qu'employeur. Ça peut vraiment être un bel incitatif.
Oui.
Mais légalement parlant, je pense pas que tu peux obliger ton employé parce que, dans le fond, ça revient à dire, ben moi, je choisis cette banque-là, puis tu es obligé de mettre de l'argent dans cette banque-là. Là. C'est totalement illégal. Là. Je comprends pas. Là.
Ouais. Ben, honnêtement, moi, je ne m'aventurerais pas là-dedans parce que, dans le fond, nous, notre mandat, c'est de le bonifier. Tu sais, personne ne nous a demandé de le rendre facultatif. Fait que je pense qu'on va...
Moi, je pense j'aimerais te le laisser dire parce que tu es meilleur que moi en anglais quand on est dans les back and forth, là. Mais j'expliquerais que pour nous, là, le bonifier, c'est pas d'augmenter la contribution d'un employé parce qu'ils l'ont dit avec l'inflation puis le coût de la vie qui est plus coûteux, c'est juste faire sortir encore plus d'argent de la poche des employés. Fait que s'ils veulent bonifier ce régime-là, c'est à eux de faire une part de chemin.
Ouais, puis tu sais aussi, genre, tu avais fait un bon point en disant que, tu sais, le market pour ces jobs-là, c'est vraiment dur en ce moment, puis qu'il y en a d'autres, là, tu sais, il y a une pénurie en ce moment, puis qu'il y a d'autres employeurs qui provide, genre, des vraiment, là, tu sais, avantages sociaux béton,
ouais.
plus que ça.
Non, là, tu peux dire qu'on est comparable au fédéral en ce moment, là, que eux, là, le fonds de pension, là, tu n'as pas besoin de lever une scène puis garnir tout seul, là.
Exactement. Fait que ça, c'est quelque chose on pourrait faire rappeler c'est comme un stress à mettre sur ça aussi.
Puis honnêtement, là, tu pourrais même comparer avec d'autres industries qui sont même pas dans l'obligation de le faire. C'est parce qu'ils n'ont pas de misère à trouver de la main-d'œuvre, puis ils le font. L'employeur cotise. Fait que c'est juste eux qui ont l'air d'être un peu cheap, là.
Tu sais, aussi, en parlant de cette catégorie-là d'emploi, justement, de main-d'œuvre, puis que c'est dur, tu sais, physiquement, c'est vraiment exigeant, ben ça, c'est un des principaux arguments pour faire venir quelqu'un dans une compagnie, c'est est-ce que tu as des bons avantages sociaux, puis est-ce que tu es bien payé. Parce que c'est ça qui attire les personnes, parce que c'est une job vraiment exigeante. C'est vraiment...
L'équipe est revenue au Zoom principal, donc you can all may continue into your negotiation.
And yeah, we would like to just to reiterate what we were talking on. We're at the point of the pension plan, and we think like according to what the information that was provided to us, we understood that it was what we're currently doing is not a contribution plan. Our employees are not contributing to the pension plan, but it is more of like a defined pension plan where the employer is contributing. So I just want to make sure like the union is also on the same page in terms of the pension, like how the pension plan works in our company.
Well, our understanding it's how it's written in the collective agreement, and it says that for now it's a defined contribution plan. So that's what we're up to at the moment. But we want to bring some improvement to that. And of course, what we expect and what our members that are behind us expect us to do is first is that what we want is that we want to cover any wage, you know, because we've spoken about that like since the beginning of this discussion, like. The staff, they work more than 40 hours. So it just makes sense to cover all hours worked under the pension plan so that they would become eligible to contribute to that. And the other part is that we are in a competitive labor market. The people who work for us, our members, they are mechanics, electricians, loader operators. They can go work anywhere now. So if you as an organization want to be able to attract and retain such employees and good qualified employees and professionals that we have in this organization, you need as an organization to contribute to their future. We ask a lot. It's labor intensive what we do. People stay standing for the whole day, facing wind, dust, facing cold. So it's very difficult. So what we ask you is to invest in your staff, and also because we're asking a lot of investment on their body as well. So as an organization, we expect that you would be also contributing to the pension plan, which is not the case right now. So at least we would expect that the organization is that first, all wages are covered, all wages earned are covered during the year, and also that as a company, you contribute up to at least 10% of the amount of these amounts. So that is what our members are asking us. I think, Maisie, you have maybe you want to bring your point as someone working on the ground.
Yes, but it's not really about that point specifically. In fact, it's more about the compression of the case. And I think I might say it to Camille, who is directrice at the moment. Nous, dans I will speak in French just for Camille. Nous, dans la version française, OK, c'est spécifiquement écrit « La compagnie offre un régime de retraite à cotisation déterminé aux employés syndiqués. Point. Ceux-ci doivent contribuer jusqu'à concurrence de 3% de leur salaire de base annuel. » Quand on réfère ceux-ci, c'est directement lié aux employés syndiqués. Parce que si on faisait référence à la compagnie, ça serait celle-ci peut contribuer jusqu'à concurrence de 3%. Fait, je pense qu'il y a eu vraiment a big misunderstood in this case. Parce que de ce que je comprends, l'autre équipe comprenait déjà de prime abord que la compagnie contribuait. Mais dans la version française, en tout cas, que moi j'ai lue, puis je pense que je suis allée relire la version anglaise, puis c'était très confusing. Ça semble être les employés qui avaient l'obligation, puis ils ne parlaient pas de la cotisation de la compagnie, sinon on aurait fait référence à un PDB. Là. Fait que je voudrais juste que ça soit clarifié ici, s'il vous plaît.
I don't know if we can say something.
Yeah, sorry. So I just confirmed with the OC about it. Yes, there was a difference between the two. So it's making it a little bit complicated because you have like two different language. So what's gonna happen is that's gonna be at the end of the day, that difference gonna be like they're gonna consider it in the evaluation. So for now, we prefer you to use the English version for that part.
Yeah.
So you can like just to let a chance about it because it's really a specific situation. Maybe I can give you 5 minutes to read it. I don't know, like.
Okay, no, but it's okay. We don't need necessarily more time. We can agree to the fact that in the English case, there was already a 3% cotization from the employer. So our demand will be in that sense. And I will let my colleague Pierre-Yves speak.
So yeah, that doesn't change our demand. So our demand is that the employer contributes up to 10% to any wage earned during the year. So that is like, that doesn't change because that's what our members are asking us to discuss with you today.
Thank you to the union for bringing up their point and also for clearing out all of the misunderstandings that we've had earlier. However, I would just like to make sure that currently in all of our plans around Canada, we're providing a pension plan program of 6%, and we would love to standardize the pension plan program across all over Canada in case of our companies to 6%. We, like you've mentioned, our employees are working in all the conditions that they have to come across, and our employees are our biggest assets and they're so important to us. So we want to make sure that we standardize the pension plan program to 6%, providing them the average that we have throughout the country. Moreover, there is in the last collective bargaining agreement, we've agreed on a 2% salary increase year over year, and that just means like with the 6%, their pension plan is also increasing every year, the contribution to their pension plan. Is that something the union would agree on?
Well, we would agree if all earned wages are being taken into consideration for the determination of the contribution of the employer.
Yes, we management does agree that all of the wages will be covered, all work hours will be covered, and so just to wrap up our thoughts and what we've agreed on, the management and union has agreed to provide to standardize the pension plan program and provide a 6% the pension plan from the annual base salary, and also will cover all work hours and wages included.
We agreed. I can speak for my colleagues. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Union, I agree.
Thank you so much. And now I believe we can move on to our next point, which was the disciplinary measures.
Yes.
So the point with regards to the disciplinary measure is because, you know, we've had a very tumultuous last couple of weeks lately. Our members were very angry about how the collective bargaining process was going. We understand that it went very bad because there were disciplinary measures that were taken into place, verbal notice, written notice distributed to our members. So things really did not turn out well. So I think because it went very well in that conversation today, it was very courteous on both parties. I think it will just make a good point that the employer just disregards and just canceled all disciplinary measures and also all verbal or written notice that were distributed as a result of this collective bargaining. So I think it would show good faith from all parties, and I think that would be a good sign of good faith from the employer as well.
No, for sure. The union totally, it's a fair point. Just for the disciplinary measures here, are you just talking about the letter of insubordination in this case to annul it? Is just to clarify?
Well, we're talking about all disciplinary measure and notice that were distributed by management during the conflict.
Okay. In our case, all we've had in this case is the letter of insubordination. So, can you just give me some of the examples of the disciplinary measures that was made by management?
Well, there were we're not in agreement, and we did not agree with the work schedule attribution, and also the expected outcome of it. So management distributed a fair amount of disciplinary measures during the conflict. So, and this just kind of fueled up the situation where we were at before today. That is the situation we were in, and that's why I think we should be able to find a resolution and also just cancel these measures. It will just kind of bring back peace in the organization, because we want to have a positive climate when we return to work.
No, we hear you. But as a management, we also believe that in this case, as much as we want to start off with a clean slate, we cannot as well disregard completely, as this would encourage such behavior to occur again in future situations. So we believe that we can provide 2 years. We can provide 2 years to come to a clean state. So if they do not get any notice, we can give them a clean slate. But above all, we just want to ensure a safe environment for all. And as much as we want to protect our employees, we want to do that. We also have to take measures that to certain individuals that will not hinder the rest of the collective employees.
If I can speak for my experience, I received one of those insubordination letter, but I am a well and a great employee. I do not miss a shift because I enjoy it. One of my kids had the flu and I couldn't make it to the work. And usually the foremen are really comprehensive. They know my situation, but with this specific case and the specific environment that we fear, we would go in grievance or what else we're talking about. I received one of those letters, but I know for a fact that I'm not an insubordinated employee. So for my case, that would be a clean slate, and I think a deserved clean slate.
Yes. So in this situation, we would allow a clean slate. However, for example, if this occurs again, we would again put any measures to avoid this this to happen again. So we would just, again, we will provide a clean slate for the employees, but at the same time, if this happens again, we will not tolerate it, and we will put measurements for this.
Okay, so just to summarize, so you will be providing clean slate, but I'm just not quite sure on the course of events. So, like, what would be the next step? You know?
Yes. So yeah, we understand what you're asking for. So basically, yes, as much as we'd like to disregard all disciplinary measures that we have right now, it is not possible since we don't want to encourage these behaviors. But in terms of 2 years, what we mean is if there has been a subordination or an act of a disciplinary measure that has been implemented, we will give the employee to come 2 years to come clean. For example, a mistake in driving a fork or a machine like that. We'll give them 2 years to correct their mistakes, and they can come back to work. But in terms of other corrective actions, like the one Maisie mentioned about the subordination letters, we understand, and we will give a case-by-case consideration and take disciplinary measures in terms of that. But for you, Maisie, we can give a clean slate, and we understand. We are willing to revisit every case-by-case to give proper consideration, but we cannot afford to disregard all disciplinary measures, since that would encourage such behavior. I hope you understand from our standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I guess if one thing that we would agree though is, you know, if the behavior that was covered by the disciplinary action comes over again, I think it would be perfectly in your power to take what was previously done into consideration. But you know, like I think we could agree on something like that. Like all employees would have a clean slate unless they repeat the behavior which the letter of insubordination was covered. So let's say if they refuse to work and they refuse to work again, so like it will be taken into consideration.
Yeah,
so
it could have a retroaction if they did this behavior before.
Yeah, for the next 2 years that was mentioned previously.
All right, we understand. Would the union be able to give us a guarantee that there will be no more subordination or any kind of problems on the side of the employee? If yes, we are more than willing to clear off the slate, since we are right now able to have a proper, polite discussion right now. We understand and we believe in you. So.
Okay, so well, you know, the situation, it was not a behavior that was fairly frequent. It was the result of the current negotiation, and both parties fueled it. So this is why, you know, it goes both ways. So if we agree on a way forward, that, you know, all measures will be kind of removed from their file unless they do it again, we would be fine with that. It will certainly help the return to work.
Awesome. So in terms of as long as there will be no more conflicts or complaints for the next 2 years, all bad records will be cleared, and we hope there will be no subordination as long as there's no conflict for the next 2 years.
Okay, so I think we agree on that.
Yes, yes. Yeah, as long as there will be no conflicts for the next 2 years, the records will be clear for all employees.
So when just to clarify, for when we're talking about conflicts, we mean conflicts related to collective bargaining, or?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
So I guess that brings up to the length of the collective agreement. I think, Mary, you wanted to present something about that.
Yes, So about the duration of the agreement, we are asking that the collective agreement has a duration of 2 years. And the reason is that we have already ruled that the salary will increase of 2%, which is like below the average, according to the research we did. So the average this year is 2.8%, and so we agreed already that it was 2%. So as you can understand, we're below the average. So that's one of the reason why. Also, we are in an essential industry that has performed extremely well, during the COVID pandemic, and which also is evolving rapidly. So as we can see with the percentage of of new equipment for the company. So we know it for a fact. Also, we were thinking that because of the COVID made the situation more complicated, it would be just a good idea to meet more quickly, so we would be able to make adjustment if necessary. So this is a proposition.
All right, we understand. And in fact, we also believe that it's a correct amount of period. 2 years sounds like a good period for us as well, to bring this agreement and keep this agreement and keep our words. I think 2 years is a good period, and we will agree without any further ado.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yes. So with that brings us to the end of the negotiation. I think I would like to summarize the agreements that we have done today. All right, so in terms of work clothes, we have all agreed up on. Give me a few seconds, I'm just gonna pull out my document. Okay. All right, first of all, in terms of diversity and inclusion, we all have agreed upon giving training for managers on how to manage a diverse workforce and training for the whole organization to work along well. Moreover, we have also agreed upon giving a year of maternity paid leave along with the 6 months unpaid leave given upon request. Then, in terms of work clothes, we have agreed to give an allowance of $500 for any new employee that starts with our company, and a $350 yearly annual allowance for their boots and other equipments that can be carried over to the next years of work. And thirdly, in terms of flexibility, we have agreed upon with a 48-hour notice in advance, 1.5 times the pay of regular. We are allowing a weekend shift and a 48-hour break after working the weekend shift. And then in terms of pension plan, we have agreed upon standardizing the pension plan program that the company pays 6% of the annual base salary. In terms of the disciplinary measures, we have agreed upon that as long as there will be no conflicts for the next 2 years in terms of the collective agreement, the records of the employees will be clear. And in terms of the duration of the agreement, we have all agreed upon that this will last for the next 2 years. Does the union agree with all the list of topics that we have discussed?
Yes.
Yes, we agree.
Awesome. This was a great conversation. We thank you for being here. We look forward to a prosperous future together.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So let's shake our virtual hand.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.